Since the accepted new metaphor for showing your solidarity with a person or an event is to quote unquote take a knee, fine, I'll take a knee before the only one who can bring any real lasting change. Change that has to happen in the hearts of men. I will take a knee for those who have suffered injustice, no matter what their color or race. You know, one particular race does not have an exclusive corner on being the one always suffering injustices. There are many people who have suffered injustice, and some not just over years, but literally centuries. I will take a knee and offer prayer for George Floyd's family. I will also take a knee for those who have been beaten and shot at, and worse, for defending their own property and for defending others in the face of wanton acts of criminal violence, looting, and outright evil. I have said it before, I will say it again. What happened to George Floyd was criminal, and the individuals responsible will be dealt with. The president has done what he has needed to do. And yes, for those of you that are saying, I don't know if the president actually has the authority to just, send the American military and turn it loose on American citizens. Actually, he does. It's called the Insurrection Act. And what we have happening in the streets right now is not peaceable protest. Martin Luther King looted nothing, burned nothing, destroyed nothing, changed the world. So what's happening right now as we are seeing literal savagery turned loose in the streets? This is not about George Floyd anymore. This is about criminal behavior, which is designed, if you will, as a revolution to literally strike fear and terror into people's hearts and have mass amounts of people surrender rights and privileges, all in the name of, quote, being equal. Have you noticed where most of the real violence is taking place? Not only is it in metropolitan cities, it is in metropolitan cities controlled by Democratic administrations, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors. It's unbelievable. On the one hand, we have people saying that President Trump is a dictator. Then they say he's too weak. They're talking about how outrageous it was that he walked across the street to the Episcopal Church of St. John and stood there, and tear gas was used to clear a path for him. He is the president. What was he supposed to do? Stand there and allow protesters to beat down on him? It was an incredibly powerful move, an incredibly powerful symbolic gesture. To walk across the street, to stand in front of a church that has been shut down because of the pandemic, and then it was burned by riotous looters, all in the name of some pretense of faux pas justice, by the president also signing an executive order there restoring religious liberty, as the Supreme Court has been trying to support governors stripping it away. It was a powerfully symbolic gesture. You want to know what this world would look like absent the church, absent the gospel, absent God? Take a look around. You're getting a glimpse of it. Because while all this has been happening, the church has been muzzled, it has been padlocked, pulpits have been silenced and reduced to just being online. Just being online. And it's only a matter of time before the online platforms start turning it off because their speech is deemed offensive. So what the president's done is powerfully symbolic. Yet at the same time, the president really does now need to step in with the military and bring order. We cannot have another night of just unleashed, loose, wanton violence. We can't have it. We cannot continue to have this savagery. The narrative of George Floyd is lost right now. Now, you'll have some saying, well, we have to understand it's just a small group of agitators that are creating this problem. Really, a small group. Just a small group within the protesters are creating all of this savagery. Okay, all right, I'll give you that. I'll even let you have that argument. I won't break down numbers and percentages, etc. I'll give you that. But take that same logic, and why does an entire race of people, why does an entire profession, the police, have to be called systemically racist because of the actions of a few? Let me say that again. If it's just a few troublemakers, a few agitators, a few aggravators within the actual legitimate peaceful protest, then can't we just then logically say a few bad apples who happen to wear police uniforms, a few bad apples whose race happens to be Caucasian, make it bad for everyone else? Black people, and I think rightfully so, don't like being stereotyped as, living in the hood, ghetto bangers, drug addicts, and all of the stereotypes that we see depicted, obviously, in TV shows and movies. And I get that there is a vast majority of Black Americans who don't live like that. They don't act like that. They don't conduct themselves that way. And the fueling of prejudice happens when we stereotype the entire race as being like that. Well, then let's flip the script now, honey, and say, not every white person is a redneck racist. Not every white person is living their life thoughtlessly and against Black people and trying to oppress them and sees no problem what was done to George Floyd. That is absolutely not true. That is a lie. It is a distortion. It is an overreaction. And so right now, in order for any discourse, any conversation to move forward, the first thing that has to be restored, law and order. The president needs to step in. He needs to, under the Insurrection Act, he needs to deploy the military in places where, quite frankly, Democrats who were losing ground over coronavirus and shutdowns, which meant they were also losing money. See, they killed their own economies. They were going bankrupt before the shutdown actually took place. Then the shutdown happened. Then the federal government stepped in and gave them bailout money, and all kinds of money. If you have X number of people with coronavirus, X number of people on ventilators with coronavirus, X number of people dying from coronavirus. Well, when Congress made it abundantly clear and Pelosi lost the last round that there would be no more bailout money coming, now that these mayors and governors are stepping back and they're saying they're doing this in solidarity as police stand and watch shop owners be beaten, or in some cases as being reported and even captured on iPhones. There can be 4 or 5 policemen standing on a corner watching a group of looters doing nothing to stop it. Then some shopkeeper comes out trying to stop them. They start beating on him. The police immediately get on a walkie-talkie and then walk away as if they were ordered to stand down and leave. Why do these mayors, why do these governors actually want all of this violence? Is it just so they can show their white liberal guilt and their abhorrence for white privilege? Bullhawk. They want national emergency money. They want the federal government to start writing checks not only for new police cars and new police stations, but obviously to continue bailing out their bankrupt cities and their bankrupt states. And cha-ching, they're going to use now even mob riots as a way to cash in. Not to mention, they also viscerally hate this president, and anything that they can try to lay blame at his feet to defeat him in November, they will. That's how vile and nasty these people truly are. They are the enemy of the people. They really are. But the president needs to clamp down, stomp down, and end the insurrection. It needs to happen now. And that is not a racist thing to say. We have to have law and order. The republic must be saved, or there will be no law and order. Anarchy will reign, which is exactly what the communists and the anarchists want right now. It is exactly what the revolutionaries want right now. And it will get to the point where we will finally surrender all of our rights for there to be peace. And then there really will be communism in the United States. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you share this to your social media platforms. Share this to other places where you are allowed to share videos. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. Smack the bell to get notification of my rants when you click the word all. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you again.